If you like this video, please consider supporting the Oto Kano channel over on Patreon. Thank you. Welcome to the bonus episode of the Color Theory series. In this episode, due to popular demand, I'm going to show you how to create neutral colors such as yellow, ochre, burnt umber, burnt sienna from these bright colors. As a little side note, I just got braces put in on my teeth this week, so if my pronunciation is a little off, please do forgive me. Apparently the pronunciations and speech will come back over the next few weeks. It's slightly weird to talk with my braces on. As I've been saying in the previous episodes, you can create any color you want from just 3 colors, and you can create really bright versions of any color in just 6 colors, but the 12 color wheel makes things a lot easier. And that also applies to the neutral colors that we all love and use. I do have to give you a geek warning here, because what I'm about to cover in this episode is top level geek stuff. You definitely don't need to remember how to do this, because that's what we have tubes of the classic neutral colors for, to make our lives easier so we don't have to do it. This is probably more going to be for interest only, in just knowing how to be able to create those colors from really bright colors, rather than something that is of a practical use. I certainly haven't memorized how to make neutral colors from these bright colors myself. I always look it up if I ever need to use them. So please don't worry if this kind of loses you a little bit. Just enjoy seeing neutral colors being made from bright colors. I'm going to put this palette aside and show you a tool that is incredibly useful in creating any color you want, and that is this little guy. This guy is the Quiller wheel, and the reason why I'm using natural light rather than having the studio light on in this video is because I've laminated this paper so that I can refer to it without damaging the paper, and when I have the lights on you can't see what's going on the surface. So I do apologize for the unusual light setup today. So this is the Quiller wheel, and it was made by a guy called Stephen Quiller, who is an amazing colorist. What he did was he took all the colors that are typically in any painting medium, such as watercolor, acrylic and oil, and arranged them in a chromatic order. The colors are arranged on the outside as you would see in a color wheel, and he marks his primaries in kind of a Trivial Pursuit cheese wedge shaped, and then his secondary colors in these diamond ones, and the colors in between with squares. And you will notice that these 12 colors are the same colors I have on my color wheel palette, and that's because I base my color wheel palette on his theory. And then you have all the colors in between in the little circles that are relative to how close they are to other colors. And what's awesome about this color wheel compared to other color wheels is that he picked color names instead of, say, like the RGB levels, which means it's more accessible to us painters. That makes this wheel a great resource for us artists in terms of where each color goes in relation to other colors. The reason why I didn't mention this wheel though when we were talking about arranging your color palette is because if you've been watching the Colossal Color Showdown, you would have seen that each color can vary hugely in hue depending on what brand you're looking at. For example, your sap green that you have might not exactly be here. It might be somewhere else depending on what brand you have. And so it's not a hard and fast rule of where colors go, but it is a great starting point. So he has all the bright colors on the outside, and as you go in towards the center of his color wheel, the colors get more muted. So you have the burnt siennas, yellow ochres, the violet greys, Prussian greens, those kind of slightly muted but still quite vibrant colors out here. And then you have more muted colors such as raw umber, burnt umber, Mars Violet, Indigo, Terra, so on and so forth, with Van Dyke being closest to the center being the perfect neutral color. Now, why am I showing you this wheel now? The amazing thing about this wheel is just by looking at where a particular color is, it will tell you how to mix that color. For example, let's take raw sienna, which is this little guy here. To know how to make raw sienna, all you have to do using this wheel is try to make a straight line between the 12 colors that will make the raw sienna go straight through the line. So for example, in the raw sienna's case, if we draw a line between the yellow orange, which for us is the B well, and the B bracket well, which is the ultramarine blue, raw sienna is bang on that line. So we know from this diagram that to make raw sienna, somehow in some proportion we need to mix a yellow orange with the ultramarine blue. Now the clever thing about this diagram is you can estimate the rough proportions of how much of the two colors you're going to need to make raw sienna. So a closer a dot is to a particular color, you're going to need more of that color. So we know from here, because it's so much closer to the yellow orange than the ultramarine blue, that you're going to need a lot more of the yellow orange and a hint of the ultramarine blue. So let's try making that color. So we're going to take the color from B well. By the way, you're going to need to use the standard color wheel for this, the one that we picked at the beginning of the series, rather than the one where you've already replaced some of these colors with whatever colors you prefer using. And I will give you a list of the colors I suggest in different brands down in the description below, so that you know what colors should be in what well again. So let's take some color from the B well, and we know that because raw sienna is so close to the yellow orange that we're only going to need a little bit of the ultramarine blue. You do need to play around a lot with proportions in order to get the right color, and do a few tests. But that is actually not bad. Maybe a little bit too orange. But yeah, that is a good raw sienna. There we go. And then this is raw sienna, but raw umber is down here on the same line. That means if we keep adding more blue to the mixture, because raw sienna is up here really close to the orange, but raw umber is more close to ultramarine blue. So you increase the amount of blue you add to the mix, you are going to get raw umber, which is probably about here. Yeah, that's a good raw umber. I'm sorry if this color doesn't look raw sienna-y, or this one looking raw umber. That's just the trick of the camera and your monitor and how this is being recorded on my camera. But that is a pretty bang on raw sienna, and that is a pretty bang on raw umber. So if it doesn't look like it, I'm afraid you're going to have to take my word for it. But I do recommend, if you're interested in this stuff, to do your own mixes, because it's fascinating to take two really bright colors and get spot on mixtures of the classic neutrals. I've just labeled all the well colors on this diagram, so it's easier for you to see what colors I'm talking about. The great thing about this diagram is you don't necessarily have to go straight through the middle. You can just go in any direction that connects the 12 colors. So for example, with burnt sienna, which is up here, we can, instead of going through the middle, just do this. And this says that if we take a color in the C well and mix it with the color in the E bracket well, in my case it's vermilion hue, viridian green hue, then you're going to get burnt sienna. And with the burnt sienna being so close to this side, we know that we're going to need a lot more of the C than the bracket E color. So let's take the C color and let's take some of the E bracket color and let's get mixing. Already that color's changing. That's a bit too green, so let's add some more C. That's a little too red. Yeah, that's a pretty good burnt sienna color. There we go. And the great thing about doing mixes this way is you might not necessarily start mixing neutral colors from scratch, but using this, you know that if you want to adjust your colors, you know which two colors you can add to your ready-made neutral color. So that's burnt sienna. However, there sometimes isn't just one way of making the same color. So if you can draw any straight line like this, for example, if we do this over burnt sienna, get a nice straight line with burnt sienna bang in the middle of the line. We know that we can also make burnt sienna by mixing the color in the B well with the color that is in the F well, and I'm going to show you that as well. So we want to take color from the B well, and since it's so close to the B, we know we're going to need a lot more B than the F. Let's take a little bit of the F, and we're like, really, these two colors? But you'll see in a minute. You get this really, really nice warm burnt sienna color. There we are. And the advantage of knowing how to make the two different versions of burnt sienna is that if you are doing maybe a cool picture in a cool setting and you want a cooler burnt sienna, then you know you can mix these two colors to make a much cooler burnt sienna. And if you are maybe doing a warm scene with a lot of warm colors and you want a burnt sienna that doesn't stick out, then you can use this mixture instead. So we've done raw sienna, raw umber, and the two burnt siennas, and they are handy because they lie bang in the middle of a line in between the 12 main colors. But what about colors that doesn't quite lie between the two big colors? For example, we have yellow ochre. Now, the nearest line you have to yellow ochre is the yellow orange with the ultramarine blue, which is quite similar to raw sienna, which is the one here, and the raw umber, but it's not on the line. It's a little bit that way. In that case, I read this to mean make a raw sienna mixture and then add a bit of yellow to it. So let's try doing that. So we start off with the B, add a little bit of blue to it. Let's start with about here and add a little bit of yellow. I'd say that's a pretty good yellow ochre already. Let's try muting it a little bit. Yeah. Of course, the colors will be slightly different depending on what colors you have in your palette. If you have, say, like an azo color around here, then it's going to be like a really glowy yellow ochre. Whereas if you have less bright colors, then you're going to have a more tame, nice and calm, soft yellow ochre. And that's the great thing about making neutral colors using this method, because whatever neutrals you create from your 12 colors is going to match perfectly to how strong your colors are on the palette. So if you have a really strong high tinting strength palette, your neutrals are going to be nice and strong, which you kind of need. And if you have nice, soft, low tinting strength colors, your neutrals are going to be nice and soft and low tinting as well. Another neutral color that is on this diagram is a Van Dyke brown. So let's try that. And again, that is going to be between the cadmium orange and the ultramarine blue. So the Be Well. And this time I'm going to put more of the ultramarine blue in, because Van Dyke brown is almost halfway between the two colors. That's about a good one. So that is how you can get the classic neutral colors from these 12 bright colors. On the whole, if you just mix what you have in your Be Well with what you have in your bracket Be Well, you're going to get a nice wide range of neutrals such as raw sienna, raw umber and Van Dyke brown. If you add a touch of yellow, then you get a nice yellow ochre. And if you just swing this color all the way to F, then you get a burnt sienna color. But this chart can be used to create any of the colors that are in the middle and also in between as well. So a really, really handy diagram to own if you are a pigment nerd like me. I do believe he puts a copy of the Quiller wheel at the back of all of his books, but I would check before you buy that the Stephen Quiller book you're about to buy does contain this wheel. So that was how to create neutral colors from these really bright colors using the Stephen Quiller wheel. As I said, top level geek stuff. You definitely don't have to know this stuff to be able to paint at all, but it's just a little bit of fun for us to geek out on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, do please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. I hope my pronunciations weren't too bad and you were able to understand everything I said. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!